Do you find yourself saying yes when you desperately want to scream no? Does this sound like your life? Nodding along in a meeting you completely disagree with, just to keep the peace? Saying, of course, no problem, to a favor that will ruin your entire weekend? Replying to work emails at midnight not out of diligence, but out of a deep-seated fear of disappointing someone? If you are exhausted from managing everyone's feelings except your own, if you feel like you're playing the role of the good person while the real you is suffocating underneath, then this is not just another video. This is an escape plan. We are about to embark on a three-step journey using the profound wisdom of psychologist Carl Jung as our map. This is your guide to finding the authentic, powerful person you lost beneath the constant need to please. Your first act of rebellion is simple. Just give yourself permission to stay and watch. It's time to stop auditioning for a role you were never meant to play and start living the life that's waiting for you. So, let's take that first step. Our first stop on this journey is to understand the beautiful, elaborate, and incredibly heavy mask you've been wearing for most of your life. Carl Jung had a specific name for this: the persona. Think of it as your public-facing self, the carefully curated, socially acceptable version of you that you present to the world. It's your professional identity, your role as a parent or a child, your online personality. It's the you that is designed for public consumption. And let's be clear, the persona is not inherently a bad thing. It's a necessary tool for social survival. We all need a persona to navigate the complexities of society. It's the tool that allows us to be polite to a rude cashier, to collaborate effectively with coworkers we might not personally like, to maintain a level of social harmony. It helps the world function. The problem, however, arises when we forget that the mask is a mask. This is a particular danger for highly sensitive and empathetic people. We don't just wear the mask, we fuse with it. We merge with it so completely that we start to believe that we are the mask. The nice guy who never feels anger. The perfect mother who is never tired or resentful. The star employee who never feels overwhelmed or needs help. The origin of this fusion almost always lies in our childhood. As children, we are exquisitely tuned to our environment, desperate for love, approval, and most importantly, attachment to our caregivers. We learn, through thousands of micro-interactions, what is acceptable and what is not. We were praised for being quiet, for not making a fuss, for sharing our favorite toy even when it broke our heart to do so. We learned that our authentic expressions, a tantrum born of frustration, a loud no, a selfish impulse, often led to disapproval, punishment, or the withdrawal of affection. So we learned to amputate these parts of ourselves. We learned that love and approval were conditional. They were rewards for being compliant, for being good. And so, the construction of the persona began, not as a conscious choice, but as a brilliant survival strategy. The persona of the good person, or the people pleaser, is perhaps the most seductive and dangerous of all. It feels virtuous. It gets you constant positive reinforcement from the outside world. People praise your generosity, your easygoing nature, your unwavering reliability. And every word of praise is another layer of mortar, strengthening the mask, making it heavier, and making it infinitely harder to take off. This extends into our adult lives. Think of the modern workplace. It often implicitly rewards the people pleaser. The one who answers emails at all hours is seen as dedicated. The one who takes on extra work without complaint is a team player. The one who never pushes back is easy to manage. We are incentivized to merge with our professional persona, leaving our real needs and limits at the door. Let's consider two archetypes. Let me tell you a story about a woman we'll call Sarah. To everyone who knew her, Sarah was a rock. At her marketing job, she was the one who always stayed late to finish a group project, even when her team members had left hours earlier. She'd say, "Don't worry about it, I've got this," with a reassuring, if slightly tired smile, while her own projects and deadlines piled up, creating a quiet panic that only she could feel. Her manager called her the office MVP, a title that felt both like a badge of honor and a lead weight. In her friend group, she was the planner, the therapist, the designated driver, the one who remembered everyone's birthday and organized the thoughtful group gift. If a friend was moving, Sarah was there with boxes, coffee, and a U-Haul, even if she had a dozen other things she desperately needed to do for herself. With her family, she was the eternal peacekeeper, skillfully navigating tense holiday dinners to avoid any predictable arguments, absorbing anxieties and soothing egos like a human sponge. Sarah's persona was that of the effortlessly capable, endlessly giving, and perpetually cheerful woman. But what people didn't see, what she barely allowed herself to see, was Sarah driving home from work, pulling over into a grocery store parking lot because she was so overwhelmed with a dizzying wave of anxiety that she couldn't breathe. They didn't see her canceling her own long overdue doctor's appointments because a friend had a crisis that required her immediate, undivided attention. They didn't see the nights she spent staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with a color-coded checklist of things she had to do for other people, with not a single item on that list being just for her. One afternoon, her boss dropped a massive new project on her desk at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday, saying with a breezy confidence, "I know I can count on you, Sarah." She smiled that practiced smile, heard herself say, "Of course." And then she walked to the office restroom, locked herself in a stall, and cried silently for 10 minutes, muffling the sounds so no one would hear. That evening, she canceled a date she had been genuinely looking forward to for weeks to work on the project. She was sitting in her car in the cavernous, empty office garage, the only car left, and she just broke down. The mask didn't just crack. It shattered into 1,000 pieces. In that moment of desolate clarity, she realized she had absolutely no idea who she was without her usefulness to others. Her entire identity was built on her service. The persona, the very thing that had earned her so much praise and validation, had become a beautifully decorated cage, and it was slowly, silently suffocating her. And this isn't a uniquely female experience. Consider a man we'll call Mark. Mark is the reliable guy. At barbecues, he's the one manning the grill the whole time, making sure everyone else has a burger before he even thinks about eating. In his marriage, he consistently yields on decisions, from which movie to watch to where to go on vacation, telling himself it's easier than having an argument. He thinks of himself as laid back and easygoing. At work, he is loaded up with the most difficult, tedious tasks because his boss knows he will never complain. His colleagues love him because he'll always help them with their work, even if it means he has to stay late to finish his own. But Mark has a gnawing ulcer, and his doctor tells him it's stress-related. He feels a constant, low-grade resentment that he can't quite put his finger on, a sense that he is a supporting character in his own life story. Mark's nice guy persona prevents him from expressing his own needs and desires, confusing passivity with kindness. This is the danger of over-identifying with the mask. It promises safety and acceptance, but the price is your authentic self. So here is your next micro-action. Don't try to change anything yet. For the next 24 hours, just become an observer. Become a detective of your own life. Notice the moments when you feel the mask slide on. Is it when your phone rings with a call from a specific person? Is it when you walk into a meeting? Is it when you were asked for a favor? Just notice it. Acknowledge it silently. Ah, there's the mask. This simple act of observation begins to create a tiny, crucial space between you and the persona. That space is where your freedom begins. So let's pause and take a breath here. We've now examined the mask. Before we journey deeper to our next destination, ask yourself this question, and just let the answer float up without judgment. What does your own mask feel like? Is it heavy? Is it tight? Is it comforting? Just notice. All right, let's continue. We now arrive at the second, and perhaps most crucial, stop on our journey. To truly understand why the mask has become so fused to your skin, we need to venture into the part of you that you've been taught to fear, to ignore, to deny, and to suppress. We need to talk about your shadow. Jung's concept of the shadow represents all the parts of ourselves that we deem unacceptable and therefore hide away, not just from others, but from our own conscious mind. It's the repository for everything we have disowned. For the people pleaser, for the highly sensitive person, the shadow is a vast, rich, and powerful territory. What do you think resides there? Our first instinct is to imagine monsters, a cellar full of our worst impulses. But for the good person, the shadow is often filled with treasures disguised as threats. Its primary resident is your healthy, righteous anger. It's your powerful, unapologetic assertiveness. It's your raw, untamed ambition that you were taught was too much or unbecoming. It's your deep-seated desire to put yourself first, to be the hero of your own story. It is your right to be messy, to be inconvenient, to be imperfect. And most importantly, it contains your powerful, unequivocal, world-building no. Society, our families, and our own survival instincts have taught us that these things are dangerous. Anger is unladylike or aggressive. Saying no is selfish. Prioritizing your own needs is inconsiderate. Expressing a strong ambition can make others uncomfortable. So, we take these vital, life-affirming parts of ourselves, and we shove them down into the darkness of our unconscious. We lock the door and throw away the key. We pretend they don't exist. But here is the fundamental truth that Jung understood so well. What you repress does not go away. It does not lose its energy. In fact, it gains power in the dark. It's like a starved creature in the basement. The longer you ignore it, the more feral and desperate it becomes. It doesn't disappear. It just starts to express itself sideways. Think of your life force, your psychic energy, as a powerful river. A healthy, integrated person allows this river to flow freely through their landscape. When you feel anger, you acknowledge it and use its powerful energy to address an injustice or set a clear boundary. When you need rest, you rest. When you desire something, you pursue it with passion. For the people pleaser, however, this river is constantly being dammed up. Every time you say yes, when your whole being screams no, you're throwing another massive boulder into the river. Every time you swallow an insult with a polite smile, you're adding sandbags to the wall. Every time you prioritize someone else's comfort over your own truth, you are reinforcing the dam. But the river's flow doesn't stop. The pressure of your own life force builds and builds behind that wall, becoming immense and unstable. How does this pressure manifest in your life? It leaks out. It seeps through the cracks. It shows up as chronic, biting sarcasm that you later feel guilty about. It appears as passive-aggressive comments that leave everyone feeling confused and unsettled. It's the gossip you engage in about the very people you are so relentlessly nice to. It's the accidental forgetting of a commitment you never wanted to make in the first place. And then, there are the blowouts. It's the sudden, volcanic eruption of rage over something utterly trivial, like someone loading the dishwasher incorrectly or a driver cutting you off in traffic. It's an outburst that shocks both you and the people around you because it seems so wildly out of proportion to the situation. But it's not out of proportion. It is the accumulated pressure of 1,000 unsaid no's, 100 swallowed injustices, and a lifetime of self-betrayal finally blasting a hole through the dam. The shadow also manifests physically. It can be the mysterious root of unexplained migraines, of debilitating chronic fatigue, of fibromyalgia, of autoimmune disorders, where the body, in a tragic metaphor, literally begins to attack itself. It is the physical manifestation of a life spent at war with your own nature. One of the most insidious ways the shadow operates is through projection. Because we cannot bear to see these disowned traits in ourselves, we project them onto others. If you have repressed your own ambition, you will be intensely critical of people you see as overly ambitious or pushy. If you have disowned your own anger, you will see anger everywhere and judge people harshly for expressing it, calling them out of control or toxic. The people who trigger us the most are often holding up a mirror to the parts of ourselves we have refused to claim. So here is your next micro-action. Over the next few days, pay close attention to what you judge most harshly in other people. What behavior really gets under your skin? Make a small, private note of it. Then, ask yourself a terrifyingly honest question. Is there a small, unacknowledged part of me that wishes I had the freedom to behave that way? This is not about condoning bad behavior. It's about using your judgments as a compass, pointing directly toward your own disowned shadow. The great liberating secret of this work is that your shadow is not your enemy. That reservoir of repressed energy is not a monster to be slain. It is a treasure to be reclaimed. That anger you are so afraid of, it is not a destructive force. It is the purest form of self-care. It is the guardian of your boundaries. It is the part of you that loves you enough to say, you deserve better than this. That ambition you've suppressed, it's the engine for your dreams. That selfishness, it's the radical act of self-preservation that will allow you to give from a full cup, not an empty one. Learning to turn around, face your shadow, and listen to its whispers is the most courageous and transformative thing you will ever do. It's the beginning of true integration, of becoming whole. This brings us to a pivotal moment in our journey, a moment that many of you have likely already experienced or are on the verge of experiencing right now. It is the breaking point. It is the moment when the dam breaks, when the mask shatters, when the carefully constructed facade crumbles to the ground. It is often disguised as the worst moment of your life. It can look like burnout so severe that you can't get out of bed for a week, where the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. It can look like a full-blown panic attack in the middle of a grocery store, a terrifying moment where your body finally screams what your mouth has been forbidden to say. It can manifest as a serious illness, a diagnosis that forces you to stop everything and reevaluate your entire existence. It can be the painful end of a relationship, where you finally realize that you have given so much of yourself away that there is literally nothing left. It can be a moment of profound soul-crushing disillusionment, when you have done everything right, pleased everyone perfectly, followed all the rules, and still end up feeling empty, resentful, and utterly alone. From the outside, and certainly from the inside, this moment feels like a catastrophic failure. It feels like you've done something terribly wrong, like you are fundamentally broken. The inner critic goes into overdrive. If I had just tried harder, been stronger, been more accommodating, been more perfect, this wouldn't have happened. This is the greatest lie the persona tells you to maintain its suffocating control. I want you to reconsider this moment completely. That breaking point is not a sign of your weakness. It is the first, thunderous signal of your true, indomitable strength. It is not an ending. It is an awakening. It is the moment your authentic self, your soul, your core being, whatever you want to call it, has finally gathered enough power from that repressed, dammed-up shadow to say, with the force of a hurricane, enough. It is your inner wisdom screaming at you, through the desperate language of pain and crisis, that the life you are living is no longer sustainable. It is a profound act of self-love, a radical intervention from the deepest part of you, to save you from a life of quiet self-abandonment. Do you recognize the warning signs in your own life? That growing feeling of detachment, as if you're watching your life from a distance? The chronic indecisiveness, where even the smallest choice feels overwhelming. A heightened, painful sensitivity to criticism? An increasing desire to isolate yourself from the very people you work so hard to please? These are not signs that you are failing. These are the tremors before the earthquake. They are the signals that a profound shift is trying to happen. The cracks in your mask are not flaws to be patched up and hidden. They are the openings through which the light can finally get in. This collapse is not a destruction, but a demolition. It is the tearing down of a prison, so that something true and beautiful and real can be built in its place. So if you are in this place now, or if you remember it well, I want you to try to hold it with reverence instead of shame. You did not fail. You are finally, painfully, gloriously beginning to wake up. And it is from the rubble of this breaking point that we can now begin the sacred work of rebuilding. This is where our journey turns from understanding to action. This is the blueprint for rebuilding your life, not on the shifting sands of other people's approval, but on the bedrock of your own authenticity. This is your 3-step blueprint to reclaiming yourself. This is the practical, hands-on part of our work together. It is simple in its description, but it will require courage, patience, and consistent practice. Are you ready? Blueprint. Step 1. Acknowledge and befriend your anger. For so long, you have treated anger as a poison, a sign of failure, a hot potato to be dropped the moment you feel it. From now on, I want you to see it as medicine. It is a vital, intelligent, and necessary emotion. It is your internal alarm system, a clear, powerful signal that a boundary has been crossed, a value has been compromised, or a deep need is going unmet. Your task is no longer to vent your anger or to suppress it, but to learn to listen to it with respect. The practice begins internally. The next time you feel that familiar flash of irritation, that resentment simmering beneath the surface, do not push it away. Do not distract yourself. Instead, I want you to pause. Just stop what you're doing. Close your eyes if you can. Say to yourself, silently and without judgment, anger is present right now. Just name it. This simple act of naming creates a space between you and the emotion. You are not the anger. You are the one who is aware of the anger. Next, I want you to do a gentle scan of your body. Where does this anger live physically? Is it a tightness in your chest that makes it hard to breathe? A fire in your belly? A clenching in your jaw and fists? A pressure behind your eyes? Don't try to make it go away. Just breathe into that physical sensation. By doing this, you are taking the anger out of the realm of bad behavior and bringing it into the realm of pure neutral information. Now, the most important part. Ask the anger a simple, compassionate question. What are you here to tell me? Or, what are you trying to protect me from? Then listen. Anger always has a message. Perhaps the message is, my time is not being respected in the situation. Or, I feel taken for granted in this relationship. Or, this situation is fundamentally unjust and I need to speak up. You can do this through journaling. At the top of a page, write, I am angry because, and let yourself finish the sentence without any filter, without any censorship. You will be astonished at the profound wisdom that comes pouring out. You may be afraid of anger's intensity. Many people-pleasers fear that if they touch their anger, it will become an uncontrollable fire that will destroy everything in its path. But what you are feeling is the explosive force of suppressed anger. When you befriend your anger and listen to it daily, it ceases to be a volcano. It becomes a clear, steady flame, a source of warmth, energy, and light that guides you and protects you. This practice is about turning this feared part of your shadow into your most trusted advisor. This advisor will tell you exactly where the walls of your life need to be rebuilt, which brings us directly to the next step. Blueprint. Step 2. Draw your first line. Reclaiming your life is done one boundary at a time. The idea of setting big, dramatic boundaries can be terrifying and paralyzing. So we are not going to start there. We are going to start small, with what therapists call micro-boundaries. This is about building your no muscle, a muscle that is likely atrophied from years of disuse. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find one tiny, low-stakes opportunity in the next few days to draw a line in the sand. Let's talk about the anatomy of a healthy boundary. It's not a wall you build to keep people out. It's a gate that you control. You decide who comes in, when they come in, and when they need to leave. It's about containing your own precious resources, your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being. So what could this first small boundary look like? A coworker asks you to help them with something right when you're about to go to lunch. Instead of your automatic sure, you pause, take a breath, and say in a calm and neutral tone, I can't right now, but I can take a look at it at 2 p.m. A friend calls to vent for an hour, but you are emotionally and physically exhausted. Instead of sacrificing your own energy, you say, it sounds like you're going through a lot and I really want to hear about it. I'm just about to head to bed, but can we schedule a call tomorrow when I can give you my full attention? A family member tries to start a guilt-tripping conversation. You say, I love you, but I'm not willing to have this conversation right now. Let's talk about something else. Notice the key components here. Your no or your limit is clear. It is kind, but it is not apologetic. You do not need to give a long, elaborate excuse or a detailed justification. In fact, the more you justify, the more you weaken your position and invite a negotiation or debate. No is a complete sentence. I'm not available is a complete sentence. That doesn't work for me is a complete sentence. Now, when you do this for the first time, your body will likely go into revolt. Your nervous system, conditioned for a lifetime to seek approval, will sound every alarm. Your heart will race. You will feel a tidal wave of guilt wash over you. You will be terrified that the other person will be angry, disappointed, or even abandon you. This is the painful but necessary withdrawal from the drug of external validation. Your job in that moment is to self-soothe. Place a hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, I am not responsible for their emotional reaction. I am only responsible for my own actions. Setting this boundary is an act of self-respect. Expect a backlash. When you change the rules of a relationship, people will push back. They may call you selfish or difficult. This is a test. They are testing the firmness of your new gate. Your job is to hold steady with calm compassion. Each time you set a small boundary and survive the emotional fallout, you are fundamentally rewiring your nervous system. You are teaching yourself, on a cellular level, that it is safe to protect yourself. You are proving to yourself that your worth is not dependent on your unlimited availability to others. Blueprint. Step 3. Follow your inner compass. For years, perhaps decades, your life has been navigated by external signals. What other people want, what you should do, what is expected of you. The final step in this blueprint is to begin calibrating and trusting your own internal navigation system. This is your intuition, your gut feeling, your authentic desires. It has been whispering to you for a long time, but its voice has been drowned out by the deafening noise of everyone else's opinions and needs. Your task now is to intentionally create quiet moments to hear it. This does not require a silent retreat in the mountains or hours of meditation, though those things can help. It can be 5 minutes in your car in the driveway before you walk into the house. It can be the first 3 minutes of your morning before you pick up your phone and let the world rush in. In these small pockets of stillness, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What do I truly want right now, in this moment? Not what you should want, not what would make someone else happy. What do you want? At first, the answer might be a deafening silence. I don't know. That's a perfectly normal and honest answer. You are out of practice. The line had been down for a long time. Just keep asking, gently. Soon the answer might be very simple. I want a cup of hot tea. I want to listen to that one song that always makes me feel good. I want to sit here and do absolutely nothing for 2 more minutes. Honor those small desires. If you want the tea, go make the tea, as if it were the most important task in the world. By consistently asking the question and honoring the answer, no matter how small or trivial it seems, you are building a new neural pathway. You are reestablishing a line of trust with your own inner wisdom. Over time, you can begin to ask bigger questions in these quiet moments. Does this friendship still nourish me? Or does it consistently drain me? Is this job truly aligned with my core values? Or is it just a paycheck and a persona? What do I want my life to feel like a year from now? The answers won't come like a lightning bolt, but as a slow, steady, quiet knowing that arises from your core. This inner compass, once you learn to trust it, will become the guiding force for every decision you make, big and small. It will lead you away from situations, people, and obligations that drain your life force, and towards those that energize, inspire, and fulfill you. This is the ultimate act of self-sovereignty, to be guided not by the fickle winds of external validation, but by the true north of your own internal compass. So what does life look like on the other side of this journey? It is not some fantasy land, free of problems or conflict. It is a life free of self-abandonment. It is a life characterized by a deep, quiet, unshakable sense of inner peace, because your outer life is finally in alignment with your inner truth. Your relationships become fewer perhaps, but they become deeper, richer, and more authentic, because they are based on mutual respect, not on your performance as a caregiver. Your yes becomes a sacred, powerful, and joyous gift because it is given freely and enthusiastically, not from a place of resentful obligation. Your no becomes an act of grace, a way of honoring your own precious limits and, in turn, teaching others to do the same. You will find that you have more energy, more creativity, and more passion than you ever thought possible, because you are no longer wasting your life force managing everyone else's reality. You are no longer a passive character in a story someone else is writing. You are the calm, conscious, and courageous author of your own life. This powerful, peaceful, and authentic person is not someone you have to build from scratch. It is not someone you have to become. It is the person you already are, the one who has been waiting patiently beneath the mask. This journey is simply about coming home.